This was the last dawn when the sky still looked ordinary. On the warm shores of an ancient continent, herds of herbivorous dinosaurs grazed, unaware. Predators waited in the leaf shadow. Life hummed as if tomorrow were infinite. Thousands of kilometers away, a wandering rock from deep space, one that had made an appointment with Earth tens of millions of years ago, was right on schedule. And today, the appointment arrived on time. A celestial body more than 10 kilometers wide plunged into the atmosphere at tens of kilometers per second. The superheated air glowed. In a single breath, it found its destined point, the shallow waters off the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact released energy far beyond any volcano or bomb humanity would ever know. Rock vaporized, metal ran like rivers. The shockwave outran the fire, ripping the air, slamming into land like an invisible wall. The shockwave leveled everything within thousands of kilometers. The ground beat like a war drum. Megaquakes, beyond what modern humans can truly feel, raced through the crust. In the marshes, mudflats shuddered out columns of bubbles. In the limestone, cliffs split open, rock dust vented like smoke. From Earth's torn mouth, matter burst outward, shattered rock, molten metal, water vapor, forming a gigantic umbrella. Drops of molten rock cooled mid-air into glass, tektites, then fell back. A strange rain had begun, at first like stardust, then like burning gravel. The sea was pulled outward as if someone had yanked the plug, but that was only the prelude to a long chapter on tsunamis. At the impact core, the water wall had no time to be named before it curled like a mountain. Farther away, water retreated from river mouths, mudflats, and ancient lake beds, only to return, not with a whisper, but with a roar. The global tsunami would need hours to reach distant coasts. In this second minute, we were only seeing local reversal around the peninsula. The hot glass beads, tektites, fell back, sowing scattered flames. Close to the impact, where compressed air burned hot and blowing debris fell thick, local wildfires ignited early. Farther out, Earth hadn't felt much, only a strange light at the horizon. In some places, the wind had stopped telling stories, not because of peace, because of the gap between two blows. As the ejecta cloud re-entered the atmosphere over wide areas, air friction generated infrared radiation. In some regions, heat poured down to the surface like a fireplace hanging in the sky. In dry forests, isolated blazes linked together. The sky seemed to press a hot pan over the land. The exact intensity and spread of this re-entry heating still varies among models, but close to the impact, early burn signatures are unsurprising. Dust and soot rose. The sky changed color like a bruise. Tiny particles, mineral dust, sulfur, soot, began their journey. They would travel far, climb high, and block much sunlight in the coming days. But right now, they were just the opening curtain. Along nearby shores, tides warped, rivers jerked backward. In limestone regions, underground caves collapsed. Herds and dinosaurs fled their cover. In the sky, ancient birds and pterosaurs, high enough to see the horizon, flew in confusion. And offshore, the first ripples of the tsunami began their journey, carrying the tale of rock and water. 8 minutes after impact, the near field was transformed. The sky was no longer the old sky, the ground no longer dutiful. But this was only the prologue, an eye blink in a long tragedy. In the hours ahead, some western shore somewhere would see the sea recede unnaturally. In the days ahead, distant skies would dim. In the months ahead, forests that had been home to countless lives would turn to charcoal. After the first hour, tektites fell more evenly in many regions, forming thin layers of glassy grains in the sediments. Tsunamis, tens to hundreds of meters high near the source, raced across oceans, reflected, converged, and devastated far coasts for many hours. Dust and sulfur lofted high, made a veil against the sun's energy, driving temperatures down. Soot from huge wildfires blocked even more light, weakening photosynthesis. Food chains, from plankton to rainforests, broke like dominoes. The intensity of the ash night, the global wildfire coverage, and the duration of the dimming still have multiple scenarios. But the overall consequence, a collapsing biosphere, is the shared picture that's hard to deny. The age of dinosaurs did not fall to a single stroke. It fell to a chain reaction. Shock waves and burial under debris, fire and smoke choking forests, dust veils hiding the sun and cooling the climate, seas changing character through acidification from sulfur and carbon, plankton populations dropping, small fish becoming scarce, big predators starving. Even those that survived day one had to endure years of hunger. But life does not only know how to lose. Some lineages pulled through. Small, flexible creatures that could exploit new niches and eat many things. And among those tiny survivors were our distant ancestors. 8 signatures of the first 8 minutes. The superheated flash, the shockwave, the megaquake, the ejecta plume, the tektite rain, the sea withdrawal, the opening veil of dust, soot, ash, the local fires around Ground Zero. 8 signatures are not the whole portrait, but they are the brutal introduction. An era was closing. Earth is a delicate machine, fragile yet stubborn. Events like the KPG remind us that life passes through great sieves. Those who learn to be smaller, to eat widely, to hide well, to breed fast, tend to survive. Those who are large and dependent on a stable ecosystem have their fate rewritten. Is it fair? Nature has no fairness contract, but nature writes the principle of adaptation in bold. Back then, the bringer of collapse came from the sky. Today, we, a slender descendant species, are writing our own impacts on forests, on the atmosphere, on the oceanic cycles. The difference? We have knowledge, science, imagination, and the ability to choose differently. 8 minutes after impact, everything had changed. 8 days, 8 months, 8 years later, so had the epoch. But not everything was lost. Life, with its shape-shifting genius, cleared the board and set up a new game. And sitting down at a small seat at the edge of that table was our ancestor. If there's one thing to keep, it's humility before scale and the courage to learn the planet's rules, because sometimes, to keep telling our story, we have to pause and listen to Earth's.